Hello, I'm John Proxy and this is Arcade Spirits, the next step in my Itch.iOdyssey adventure. It's not an adventure, it's an odyssey. John, you screwed up! You screwed up, that's not what you call the series! Restart the video. No, it's just an Itch.iOdyssey. It's a meaningless phrase, and apparently I've decided I'm going to put them on all the videos. Definitely not needlessly confusing. Let's start a new game, shall we? I'll put the controller down, it doesn't seem to use that. And adjust my volume. Right. So I believe this is a visual novel of sorts. But, database system online. New profile detected. Analyzing. New profile. That particular number. Economic bracket. Lower middle. Employment. Category. Bleak. Current emotional health. Rating. Low. Ideal candidate for premium level assistance. Proceed. Negative. Premium level assistance requested. Proceed. Negative. Pretty please? No. Overriding denial of assistance. Establishing premium services for profile that particular number. Justification. Hope. I might be covering up. I'm currently covering up a box, but I imagine pictures are going to arrive, so I'm going to have to push me to the other side. In fact, I'll do that now. Way. Right. Normally I have to put a cut there, but it didn't. It didn't kick me off the screen, which is nice. Now compiling personal metadata. Right. So I guess it should be John Proxy. Oops. John Proxy. Did say first name last. I'll go for he. I'll go for short. So I guess the idea of this is to find yourself, right? So I don't know. I won't overthink this. Obviously, you could instead find your ideal self. It looks like I've got black hair, but it's actually very dark black brown, but I'll put black hair. I'm not nearly that young. Somebody was talking to me the other day. Like these games tend to like only have teenagers in, so it's like if you want to play dating games, it's quite problematic. It's like, well, I can only hang out with teenagers. I don't want to hang out with teenagers. It's creepy. But I'm trying out all these games, obviously. I am now done editing. So there's a rough approximation of John Proxy. A considerably younger looking version, but this is correct. Premium level assistance for profile that particular number. John Proxy has been activated for the sake of his hopes and dreams. Following is a work of fiction. All references to trademark classic arcade titles should be used under normative fair use and should not be considered an endorsement by their publishers or creators. Winners don't use drugs. Sorry, I should have read that. Level 1. It's the future year 20XX, a dark era in which mankind is pushed to the brink of catastrophe. Woe be to the human race plagued by evil, terrifying, utterly sinister. I don't know. Robots, maybe? Evil robots. How's that work? Yeah, no, sorry, the future is the year 20XX. It's pretty much what you'd expect it to be. Non-flying cars, smartphones, pro-gamer celebs, internet trolls, personal assistant AI, cheese-flavoured snack foods. But even with such wonders as 20XX holds, to date, I've had no part in any of them. I've worked as a dishwasher, a shoe salesperson, and a lifeguard for a local community pool. I don't care what era of human history you live in, kiddies peeing in the pool is pretty much a constant thing. Trust me on this. As for the bustling metropolis of 24-hour neo-utopia you see here, my little corner of it isn't nearly as shiny and cool. Or cool? Let me show you. Behold, my quaint little apartment. It's bigger than mine. This is huge. Can't complain, really. It's paradise in a relative sense. I only pay half the rent. Okay, fair enough. It's a shared place. Neighborhood stabbings have been down this year. Also, my roomie picks up any stray socks or shirts I leave laying around. They've got 3 bloody bookcases. In fact, as things go, I'm living large compared to most of my family tree. Or at least I was before today. There's Juniper. That horrified-looking young woman there would be my roommate and childhood friend, Juniper. Juniper's the one who spearheaded this effort to co-rent an apartment. She's also the one who encourages me whenever I lose a job. Like, you know, today.
Well, you weren't more upset about this. I'm upset. I'm upset on your behalf. Come on, share the load a little, okay?
Pool's closed, Juniper. Not much I can do about that. Why get upset? Because you actually enjoyed that job, more than you enjoyed dishwashing soap and smelly socks, at the very least. I'm not the complaining sort. These things just happen. Sorry, that's me talking. Things fall apart. The centre does not hold. That's a bit morbidly poetic, isn't it? No, I mean the community centre literally fell apart and the pool won't hold water anymore. Whatever. I'll just get another job. Any job will do as long as we can make the rent right. Wrong. I saw how mopey and tired you were, coming home every night from those other crappy jobs. At least when you got back from the pool each day, I sometimes caught you smiling.
Of us moving away from home, if not to get away from all of that. I mean, we both left that town so we could try to find happiness, right? I just want us to be happy. Both of us.
I thought you hated your job. No deflecting, this is about you. My mind's made up. We're going to find you a job that's just as good, if not better, than the lifeguarding job. Let's start from the top. What's your dream? Well, I'm standing in front of a class to give a speech, and I forgot to put my pants. And your dream job? Oh. I don't know, Juniper. I never really given it any serious thought.
I've got it.
Oh, hey. I think I have just the thing to help you out. Juniper pulls out her phone. Rapidly, that's a word, tapping an unlock code into the glass before pointing out a little pink icon. It's a virtual life coach app. Mine keeps me from being late to meetings. Totally free, too. My cousin introduced it to me. Wasn't he the guy who ended up in the ER after making a homemade flamethrower? It would have worked if he got the fuel mixture in his water gun right. Anyway, I'm sending a copy to you now. I got a pop-up an hour ago offering me 500 points just for recommending it to a friend. Great timing, huh? Well, as long as you're earning points, I guess. At least give it a try, okay? Maybe it can point you out some good jobs. One with less socks and or urine. Think about it. Okay, but don't think too long, right? In the end, I installed the app. Couldn't bear to see Juniper fretting over me like that. Not that I find it annoying. I mean, it's more that she has enough trouble in her life without troubling herself over my life too. Both of us has had it rough. Up to and through the point where she left home to try to start a new life. A better one. She deserves better than me and my problems. Bless her heart, she means well. She's been firmly in my corner for all my life. The two of us, against any dark forces aligning against me. But that's not to say she's good at being my advocate. Enthusiastic, yes, but skilled, no. Typically, the fantastic opportunities and self-help resources she sends my way are pyramid schemes or something. She's gung-ho about lending me a helping hand, but yeah, the main reason I went ahead and installed the app was to make sure Juniper wasn't about to get her kidney sold on the black market or something. Still, no sense messing around with it now. A good night's rest would act as a neat little emotional reset button, right? Right. No dreams, no nightmares, just 8 hours of sweet, sweet black. By the time morning light leaked in through the cracks in the blinds, I didn't care any more about being unemployed again. Juniper had already left to catch a bus to her office. She typically leaves before dawn, but she'd left a note for me, pinned to the tiny fridge we shared. Remember, download app, find dream job, make money, sort your life out. I believe in you. So, moment of truth. Do I trust Juniper's weird little app, or just go find some job that pays well enough to cover the bills? Well, what am I playing this game for if I don't give the little app a shot? Figuring at the very least, her miracle app could possibly find me a job, I load it up, tap the icon, and... Huh? Oh, see? That's what I mean. Anyone else will freak out over a cute girl climbing out of their phone? Me? I went, huh? It's also one of those new kind of 3D screens, so you know, not magical realism here. Very normal in the distant future of 20XX.
We're downloading Iris, your personal life coach. This is the ad-supported free version, sponsored by Pizza Yums. Did you know that when you have pizza on a bagel, you can have pizza anytime? Wow. Would you like to subscribe to Pizza Facts?
No thanks.
Subscribing to Pizza Facts.
There you go, there's that joke. But
Get your dream job, your dream house, and your dream partner. I'm here to make all your dreams come true.
pretty tall order for an app to do, or are you some sort of wish-granting genie? Well, I suppose, in modern parlance, a massively interconnected database searching virtual assistant could be considered a kind of genie in a bottle. But honestly, all I can do is give you the chance to improve your life. What you do is up to you. I can cross-reference search data for you, but without motivation, you won't get anywhere. I glanced up from my phone at the heaps of laundry and half-finished books and other items strewn about my apartment. Motivation is something I have tons of, honest. That's super! I really look forward to working with you. Before we begin, do you have any questions? Sure. Why should I use this app at all? I mean, my phone already has voice-activated assistant AI. I can just say, hey phone, search the web for job listings, and it will work just as well. Ah, but I have an advanced emotional language interpreter. I'm smarter than the average bear, and the average program, and with more heart. Not than the bear, though. I can help you sort your life out by analysing your personality and finding you a perfect path in life. All thanks to my glorious, wondrous, patent-pending, super-duper identity identifier system. Between you and me, that really wanted an acronym that matched my name, but I couldn't figure out what to do with the letter R. Would you like to know more? Sure. Every time you think about saying something, I can tag it with an identity. That way you can be the sort of person you want to be. This system allows me to better understand who you are and what you need from life. I do this by analysing your tone, inflection, and word choice. I can spot 5 different identity identifiers in your responses to people. Quirky, steady, kindly, gutsy, and basically. Sounds to me like your programmers also wanted a bunch of things ending in Y. That's correct. My branding game is on point. Quirky responses use jokes, snark, and sarcasm to make light of a situation. Just a thing for picking up someone's spirits, but a badly timed joke may not win over the room. Steady responses are sincere, honest, logical. When you stop and think before speaking, you're on steady ground. But that might not take someone's feelings into account. Kindly responses are compassionate and empathetic and gentle in nature. They're careful with the feelings of others, but they're sometimes a bit wishy-washy as a result. Gutsy responses go with your gut. When you're brash, bold, risk-taking and instinctive, you're gutsy. But it also means being blunt, confrontational, and aggressive. So be aggressive. Be aggressive. Be careful. This is actually what I meant to say there. Lastly, you can always take the basically option. It's a balanced and neutral response, safely moving the conversation along while learning more and digging deeper. Over time, I'll build up a personality profile for you based on the identity identifiers detected in your speech. Maybe you'll be predominantly quirky, genuine, sturdy, mix of both. Who knows? It's up to you. So what you're saying is I should always try to crack jokes or be super gutsy. Oh, and never speak basically. I mean, being basic's bad, right? Sounds bad. Heck no! They're all useful in the right context. There are no bad choices. Consider what you could say and go with what feels right in the moment. Don't limit yourself. Sure, you could gamify your personality, but it's more fun to let it happen naturally, you know? Just be you. Now, let's see my patent-pending identity identified system in action. How do you feel about dad jokes? High jokes on dad? Seriously? Hey, I never said I was good at dad jokes, just thought I could go for them. I didn't say that either, to be honest, but so now that you've seen the identity identifiers in action, do you want to see the indicators like that? Or do you want to make an informed decision? If not, I can hide the indicators, keep it a surprise, that way it doesn't influence your decision making. It's up to you. Hide the indicators, what will be. So mysterious. Okay, I'll hide them from you. You'll always be able to spot basically up responses though. Anyway, as we go along, I'll analyze and tally your identity identifiers. In fact, let me show you now. Would you look at that? Such a strong personality. You asked me a single question. Off to a great start, I'd say. And hang on, you're scoring me. Didn't you say not to gamify my personality? Hey, I said you shouldn't. I'm an app. I think in numbers, so I've got to gamify a little. Anyway, studies show that achievements, or chivos, as the kids say, no they don't, encourage his app engagement. Okay, well, what's up with the empty space on the left? Ooh, I also track vocal responses from people you meet. Once you get to know some folks, I'll let you know how well you're getting along with some of them over there. Relationship scores, wonderful. So, will you tell me what the correct responses are to avoid making enemies, or do I need to go and find a walkthrough for the vast game you're making my daily life? John, you're looking at this the wrong way. Generally, people don't get super annoyed at you unless you deliberately and repeatedly provoke them, and it'll be obvious when you're doing that. I promise that I promise you, that if you bungle a few social encounters, it won't really hurt anything. No cheating needed, just relax and have fun. You can access your scorecard anytime you like with the Q key, or click on the score in the upper right corner of your screen. And that's everything. Ta-da! Okay, how's this supposed to help me get a job? I only downloaded this app because my roomie claims you're a great life coach for the unemployed. What good will taking the quiz off the back of the supermarket checkout rack magazine do with that?
It'll help me understand your spirit, of course.
I think it was a strange metaphor, but okay. You can talk to ghosts. Is there a ghost in the room right now? Am I a ghost? You have to tell me if I'm a ghost. That's the rule. Why did I pick that joke?
Silly. I mean your spirit, your hopes and dreams, your life's passions. I can even help you find romance.
Romance? Seriously? Seriously. Often you can find your soulmate and your dream job in the same place. But if you'd rather focus on gaining employment for now, that's fine too. Workplace dating, well, that's a recipe for disaster. And hitting on co-workers right from day one can be kind of awkward. Or am I looking for love and ready to start right out of the gate? Never get a second chance to make a first impression. If I meet the right person, why put it off? How do I want to handle this new opportunity? No, I'm not actually going to be able to get that far because I've only got 10 minutes left. Romance without flirty first impressions. That's fine. I'm sure you get to know people better. Romance will eventually bloom. Or not. It's up to you, really. Now, let's get started. To finish analysing your personal history, please authorise me to read your social media feeds and personal information metadata. Aha! I knew it! This is some kind of scam. I'm going to wake up in a bathtub of ice, missing a kidney. Sure, I can help you register as an organ donor. Oh, were you being sarcastic? Sorry. I haven't quite finished analysing your personality. I couldn't tell. Relax. Hang on. Oh, whatever. I won't share your information with any third parties. This is strictly so I can find your dream job. Am I authorised? Another wonderful Juniper recommendation here. Just like the 17 self-help books on my shelf. Still, 18th time's the charm, right? Yeah, go ahead. So, do I just stand here or... I've identified your dream job. I've arranged an interview, 30 minutes from now. Please put on some nice clothes. Nicer than those, please. I don't think that's too much to ask. What? For your interview, silly. You want to look your best. But we just... how? How did you land my dream job in 20 seconds flat? Simple. I'm awesome like that. Now get a move on. Tut tut. You need to catch the 8:20 AM bus. That's 90 minutes away. That's clearly not my dream job if I have to get an 8:20 AM bus, but whatever. Well, this is happening! But I do have a chance to get off this runaway train on the runaway track. Nobody says I have to obey my new digital fairy godmother. I could delete the app and go find a real job. That'd be the safest option I could. A normal person, someone with the right high standards, would have deleted the apps right after... Right there, rather than hop on a bus to meet up with what were very likely men with sharp knives and a taste for kidneys. But me, I was already getting dressed before she'd finished the sentence. It's not like I believe the silly app's claims at serving my hopes and dreams on a silver platter. Honestly, I expected another shoe salesman job at best. Alright, I'm going to take the headphones very briefly, and I'm going to say one thing about the game. Which is, the game put a lot of effort at the very start of the game in saying, make you get these, like, this is what you look like. It's important to us that you can look and be exactly who you think you are. And a lot of the game is saying, hey, choose your personality, you get choices. But also, a lot of the game is narration from a character that clearly isn't me and clearly isn't saying things that I would say. So that those two are working against each other. John Proxy, as far as I would envision him, doesn't say things like that. Because I don't say things like that. Now, granted, I'm probably slightly older than the intended audience. But if I'm a blank slate, I'm a blank slate. And if I'm a character, I'm a character. I can't be both at the same time. But well... See, I like... what would the John option be? What is my dream, anyway? As much as I genuinely enjoyed being a lifeguard, I can't say that I found a true direction in life yet. Assumed I never would, honestly. After... I was trying to click on that. So I got that. After things went south for my family, I learned to put all that aside. But assuming Iris wasn't out for my kidneys, what if it's not too late? So I thought, one last time I'll have some optimism, some faith. And as I came to realise weeks later, turns out I was right to have faith in my spirit. The bus drops me off, oddly enough, not far from the Juniper's office building, though my destination isn't nearly as upscale as that. You see, well, it's a strip mall. Strip malls are relics of 19XX, places where a random assortment of weird little businesses jam as many of themselves in as tight a space as possible. For instance, I'm seeing a dentist, a used bookstore called The Whole Story, an arcade, a fast food joint, and a boarded up health spa, once called lattes and enemas, which sounds,
Listen,
what do you think? I think that's two things no human should ever combine. No, I mean about your future place of work. I'm desperately hoping we're not talking about the same thing. Which one of those businesses exactly am I working at? I don't know anything about oral hygiene or old books. I'd rather not be a fry cook. The one in the middle, silly. What, behind the arcade? It is the arcade. Huh? Trust me on this. I've referenced and cross-referenced and cross-referenced your personality details, your personal history and social media connections. This is your dream job. My dream job? Really?
97%.
Also pet peeve of mine is absurdly, like, people using percentages like that. Happens a lot in anime. And it's that thing where, like, somebody goes, yeah, we've got like a 17.5% chance of... And it's like, no, you don't. Nobody has that app. Nobody has percent. Maths is not, it doesn't work that way. Especially when it comes to human interaction. No. No. I should probably explain my confusion. Arcades are big businesses in the entertainment centre. Pro gamers are celebs. 5-star arcades are social hotspots. It's always been popular with the mainstream. So it's a reasonably good guess to say arcades because we're playing a computer game, and saying people who play computer games are interested in computer games is a reasonably good guess. And they couldn't exactly have like 10 different jobs, depending on, I don't know, the first two things people clicked on. But at the same time, it's very easy for me to go in and go, I don't think I'd be my character's dream job. I'm trying to give, like, is it a story about somebody that I just got to name that I'm choosing the things? Because it's just a weird pulling left side, right side. But, well, restaurants are popular too, right? For everyone who opens up one hoping to see the next Iron Chef, dozen more shut down in failure. An arcade competition is fierce. Paydays range from peanuts to gold, and sure, those who make it can secure fame and fortune, but those who don't, well, no wonder Iris sees this as a dream job. Video games weren't always this popular though. I read an interesting article about it once. Back in the year 1908X, we narrowly avoided a serious industry crash, which would have left video games as kids' toys fads, like hula hoops. No mainstream acceptance. So yeah, I remember reading that this is set in a game that didn't have the video game crash, and that's why there's subtle differences, I guess. For instance, one of the factors, though, could have been a terrible game based on a kids' movie about a cult alien visitor who wanted a phone home. If this game was complete poop butts, like poop from the butt, and massively overproduced, it ruined video games for years. Fortunately, cooler heads prevailed. And the crash was averted. The crisis only exists in theory now. Sometimes I wonder what it'd be like for people in the darkest timeline, where everything went wrong. Are gamers considered nerds and outcasts? Are arcades vanishing points of nostalgia? The mind boggles. Okay, that's the other reason for the arcade. Fair enough. I'm not trying to be mean either. I'm just thinking what comes to me. But make no mistake, as popular as they are, the arcade industry is a dodgy, risky prospect for a job. Plenty make a run for it, only to come up short. Considering Iris was tasked with me getting a job I enjoy and could keep me for more than a few months, this left me a bit confused. Iris, this isn't me saying no. It's an interesting prospect, but... I mean, are you sure about this? You're saying you're 99% sure?
97%.
Won't this be like my lifeguard job, though? Satisfying but short-lived? This arcade doesn't exactly look like a 5-star. It's no Deco's Palace, that's for sure. And to be perfectly honest, I haven't set foot inside of an arcade in 15 years. Okay, the other thing I'm going to mention, this should all be in my review, I'll go a few minutes over, is that you got to pick the colour of your skin, you got to pick your pronoun and hair and all that. You couldn't pick your weight. So you're forced to be conventionally attractive, right? And Juniper, for instance, is larger, let's say. I'm trying not to be mean. Like, that's obviously on purpose, right? That's the sort of people. It's trying to be inclusive, right? And I'm overweight. Like I'm saying this as a fat man. There's a reason why I record from the neck down. I've got exercise machine. I'm working on it. But my point is, I couldn't choose to look like Juniper. I had to be. I had to look like I look, right? And again, I cannot stress this enough. Like, I'm not asking for a game to have every single option ever. Nor am I even asking for it to change. I'm just pointing out that, like, because I get it. Like, every additional like that is more work. And I'm making a game. I understand. Like, a game will never get finished if you keep adding work. But then I mention it because I worry that in restricting the option, you're sort of going, yeah, we want it to be inclusive and we want to appeal to a certain crowd, but not too inclusive. You know what I mean? Like, I'm being unfair. It's just what I see. Like, I'm sure it wasn't on purpose. I'm sure choices were made, right? But like, I'm just saying, I wasn't allowed to look like Juniper. Anyway, we're going to go a couple of minutes because I spoke when I shouldn't have. I remember really enjoying arcades when I was a kid. I wonder why I stopped going to them. Iris interrupts her thoughts, eager to show off her homework. I meant it. It's not some arbitrary number. I'm designed to be a bit silly and whimsical, but my maths is deadly serious. My code has made me to be warm personal front of a database array that's currently laser targeted on getting you exactly what you need, right here, right now. And when this place inevitably collapses and I lose my dream job, what makes you think that's going to happen? Because it does. It always does. I don't think your database accounts for family curse. We've always had to, I don't know, compromise, settle, because things rarely work out. You always have to be ready for the worst. It's why I take things in stride these days. Does that mean you shouldn't even try? That. Open my mouth to protest and then close it. As often as my life tends to crumble out from under me, it's not like she was wrong. I still had to try. I do like the idea as the arcade job as a dream job as a metaphor for that right there is a reasonably good thing to suggest. You should try, regardless of whether it's realistic or not. But it also insisted that there was 99% certainty. This is why it feels like two forces are pulling on it. Like, I'd remove that 99%. But then again, or let my character comment on such things. And then I'd at least be more confident that my character reflected me better, rather than seemingly not questioning certain things. Because those aren't about the choices. I might have to. I'm going to save my game. I might have to skip a little bit, so I can actually sort of see a bit of the game. Because I'm not. I don't know if I've seen the game or if this is the entire game. So let's see what that was. I'm all over the shop on it. I don't even know what these symbols mean. Also, could you remind me what these symbols mean? Let me hover over them or something. I don't think I'm going to be able to get far enough to really see what this game is about, I'm afraid. Also, I feel like you're being a bit mean saying the Brontosaurus chooses are basic. I would argue that T-Rex is the basic choice. T-Rex is the most obvious dinosaur. Brontosaurus is kind of a creative choice. Who the hell picks Brontosaurus? Like, if you want your basic, also kind of, you've low-key added an insult option there. Like, I know they said in the game, it's fine to be basic, but it's like, we're going to definitely signify which is the basic option for you. Kind of low-key says, don't pick that option. Brontosaurus. If you think basic has to be the most average option, and if you ask everyone who can speak English, everyone who can identify 10 basic dinosaurs, who the hell picks Brontosaurus? That's not the basic option at all. And I'm going to leave it here. I'm not even going to explore anymore. No, I'm actually going to pick that. Alright, I'll... I'm going to have to leave it here, I'm afraid. Because there's just no way I'm going to get far enough. It looks interesting. It's a really nice looking game, by the way. But there's just no way of getting far enough to really see how the choices are going to pan out. Also, I'm about a day behind, so normally I'd wait 24 hours to say my review. But it's probably only going to be like 10. Even possibly shorter than that. But I actually think I said quite a lot of what I wanted to say during this episode. So I might just draw the picture very quickly. Either way, we're going to cut to that right now. I'll try and get the episode up in time. And then we'll return here for the outro. I'll click... Well, we won't return here, will we? We'll look at the website for the outro. Right, so you may notice that this video is not out of the usual time. You may not notice that because I don't think I have enough viewers to really... see those sorts of things, but hypothetically speaking, you might have noticed that. And it's for that reason that it's not actually been 24 hours, which I like to wait before doing my impressions, but it is the next day. I'm basically having to do this first thing after I wake up. But yes, this is... Oops. Let's spell it right. Arcade Spirits. Impressions. So one of the things I didn't mention during the game was that I forgot the game was called Arcade Spirits. And, you know, that means that the fact that he ends up working in an arcade, but, you know, it was bound to happen. I mean, it would have been really difficult to make a game where the jobs changed, but it does bring me to my point that it feels like the game is pulling in two different directions, where it's like, this is the narrative of the character that's going to go through the story, and this is the narrative of John who made choices. Let's put a little heart there. But I think... There we go, that's a heart. I think I'm being unfair. What are you doing, John? Just get rid of that heart. That's a terrible heart. I'm being unfair because this is clearly a romantic game and I didn't get to the romantic bit. So what I'm going to draw, I think, is the mobile phone. We'll put a black background on as well, actually, now that I think about it. Because there was a lot of that. So I'll draw the crappy mobile phone. I'll draw a crappy mobile phone. The mobile phone in the game seemed fine. Was that phone... I'm going to make it purple. No. Also, I'm going to... Not that one. Oh, it's... I keep forgetting about that one. There we go. We'll fill this in. Yes. So, this will be our mobile phone. I should have drawn it inwards to outwards. Still do that. No! We'll draw the buttons. But mobile phones haven't looked like that in years, John. They might have in this universe. Hang on, I think it might have in that game. I genuinely can't remember. Let's give it some buttons then. What's drawn on the screen? I don't know, some stuff. You're supposed to be talking about the game, John, not the picture. Yeah. I actually think I said quite a lot of what I meant to say in the video, and I know the point of me waiting 24 hours is to give me some new insight, but I think what I said was already reasonably fair, that I didn't quite get far enough for the game to really show off its romance. I don't know, let's put a heart or something. No, we can't use pink. Let's have some bars, I guess. So the characters seem nice. The dialogue was reasonable. It was a bit too snarky for my liking. Like, it's kind of what annoyed me the most, that the character was talking in ways that I wouldn't talk, despite the fact that in the game had this thing about me putting in my own answers. Like, it felt like he was being clever, and it was clever in a way that I wouldn't have considered clever. But I don't... And had that character been his own person, that would have been fine, but because it was supposed to be me, or an approximation of me, I got to draw the character design and stuff, so... and that's the thing that I clearly can't get over, apparently. I'm just going to put some stuff on this screen, so you can sort of see the designs. Like so. Some symbols. But all the drawing looked nice. I think I've spent too long drawing this picture and not enough time talking about the game. I am going to just very quickly draw a picture of the lady coming out. It's not going to look good, by the way. There we go. It's very stylistic. She's supposed to be sitting down, but I kind of ruined it by being terrible at drawing. Let's kick her leg up instead. She was very happy. Anyway, that's basically the finished drawing. It's not going to get better than that. So yes. I'm going to try and concentrate because I clearly just spent ages, 6 minutes drawing a picture. I think I'm also not the target audience for this game. Let's put a little bit right there for the basic one. But I do like the idea of it giving you loads of questions and then it picking the perfect the perfect date for you, rather than you trying to guess what the date wants, which is what dating games usually are like. This isn't a dating game; it's a romantic comedy narrative game, which is I'm reading on the screen over there. But and even though it's not aimed at me, I did kind of like the premise. I thought it was an interesting one. But clearly I couldn't get over that one idea of it going, hey, here's your 5 options. Also, yeah, I didn't like the fact that one of them was just basic, because it doesn't matter that you say, oh, that's not an insult, but because it's low-key saying never pick the basic option. Even though I bet one of the partners is the basic option, but it just felt like the fact that it was labeling the basic option, and the fact that Brontosaurus was the basic option was just alien to me. If you ask most people, I don't think anyone would pick I think Brontosaurus would be quite rare. I don't think it would be the quote unquote. It might be the boring option, but I don't think it's the basic one because people think they're interesting, right? Everyone goes for T-Rex and Raptor and the interesting options. Like the basic option, what is that? Like the basic option is the popular option. If you think of it like that's a basic person is a. If you think of what like a basic bitch is, sorry, that was a hard B on that. I don't like saying that word. There's a phrase which is that phrase that I just said, which isn't common in the UK, but it is. Like I see it on TV and stuff. But that's a popular girl, right? That isn't somebody who's boring. That's a popular thing. So it shouldn't be the boring choice. The boring choice should be boring. Like, I'm fine with calling it the boring choice, but hide it as the boring choice. But the basic... that's... And I guess that's the issue I have with this entire game, which is the signal it's sending I don't necessarily agree with, like I'd mentioned before, about, like, you couldn't make yourself look like, I've forgotten her name now, Petunia? It's not Petunia, is it? Anyway, I because of the way the game worked, I think I got to say plenty, and I think 9 minutes is absurd for the length of this impressions bit. But most of that was me drawing this really crappy picture. Let's hand it in. Because I sound like I think I'm being really unfair, and I don't think... Well, I got an A for that. Like, I'm actually genuinely, like, because it's not my sort of game, it was never going to be an amazing review, but I actually think for what it does, it seems like a really good idea, and I'm just nitpicking. I want to stress that, I'm nitpicking. Like, all this is fine, but it's like, when it's all narrative, it's very easy to go, but yeah. So don't take this as a bad review, it's not, it really isn't, but it might sound like that, because I'm putting emphasis in places that probably shouldn't have emphasis. Anyway. See what the next assignment is. You may have noticed the assignment wasn't the one from the last video. It's because I finally got around to drawing some impressions. Right. That was Arcade Spirits, a romantic comedy narrative game, which I just remembered what is a romantic game because I didn't get to play far enough to see any romance. Luckily, I saw this before making the review. It's just I have to play more, don't I? The next game on the list is Minute. Let's say that again. Minute. Now, I've played and completed Minute. So, we'll have a look at the page anyway, because that's what I do. But, it does make things a little interesting. So yes, in case you don't know what Minute is, it's a peculiar little adventure played in 60 seconds at a time. A journey outside the comfort of your home to help unusual folks uncover countless secrets and overcome dangerous foes, all in hopes of lifting a rather unfortunate curse that ends each day after just 1 minute. So what I'll probably do is try out the New Game Plus, which is something I never tried first time around. Anyway, let's click back to the game very quickly. So one thing, I hope I mentioned this in the impressions, but I might have forgotten by the time I get there, which is, so I have these kind of vague, small, petty gripes with the game. But all of that might be moot because it might be just like, no, it's not a you simulator, it's a romance simulator, and your choices only really reflect the romance options, i.e. the arcade is just story fluff, and all this is actually to set up the dates. Now, because it only just occurred to me that that's probably the case, and so I should just sort of relax about not feeling like this story makes sense to my character. Like, this is just the world it's set in. This makes sense. Don't overthink this part, probably. I look very happy there. But, oh yeah, I should probably just end with, oh, I just met someone very quickly then. He was a snappy dresser. Seemed like a cool dude. There we go. There's a cool dude. I'm going to leave you there, I'm afraid. I've been John Proxy. You're now leaving the proximity. What were my options in the end? Let's be nice. What? So, it's those three. I don't know what those three mean. I'm all over the shop. Yes, you are now leaving my Itch.iOdyssey, which is where I play a bunch of Itch.io games that I bought in a bundle. There's like 1,000 of them over that. I don't know how many of them are actual games, but I'm going to try and get through them all, because why not? Anyway, thank you for watching.